Hi, my name is Patrick, and I just wanted to introduce you to I'll use the term herbal element because it's the weirdest little man-made extraction from plant that I've ever seen. So we're talking about trehalose. And I was introduced to trehalose probably back in like 2012, and I was introduced to it by a guy who introduced me to glyconutrients, and glyconutrients basically got me out of Lyme disease, and trehalose kind of took my game to the next level. And oddly enough, a company called Cargill, which is like a big chemical company, bought all of the trehalose suppliers like out there. And then trehalose became really, really expensive. It was like $400, almost $500 to buy trehalose, because trehalose was only like shipped into the country by like the ton. And how you would receive it, like literally at your door, is a 50-pound bag of trehalose. That's the only way it was sold. 50-pound bags. So it cost a ton of money to ship it. It cost a ton of money to get it. It just became unaffordable. So I stopped taking trehalose, and I kept like a little bag. I had like a little baggie, kind of, like for those rainy days that if you ever needed trehalose, I just kept like a little bag for myself. And I went about 3 or 4 years without taking trehalose, and of course you forget what it is or what it felt like, or how, you forget the height that you fell from, so to speak. So I had a triathlon coming up, and I had been doing triathlons for like 2 years. And I said, you know what? I bet trehalose would help me out, because I never trained. I never trained for the triathlons. I would just kind of rock up, do the triathlon, show up in like, out of 280 people here, I'd come in like 80th, for example. I was always like middle of the road in my age group and, for the entire triathlon participants. So I decided I would take trehalose and I would just put it in my water. Basically, trehalose is sugar, to keep it simple. So I put the trehalose in my water, and when I was swimming, biking, and running, basically after each event or during each event, I was drinking the water with the trehalose in it. And the first time I did it, I came in 4th place. And then the second time I did it, I placed second in my age group. So I came in 4th place in my age group, and then second place in my age group. I literally placed. And I blame that 100% on trehalose, because I didn't train, I did nothing different. I just showed up like all the other times, but trehalose gives you energy like basically nothing on the planet. Like nothing on the planet. And you don't get like a weird boost of energy. You literally just, your cell structure does not break down. You don't dehydrate. You have energy and stamina that just seems to go on and on and on. And it's not like it's a coffee burst, it's just a continuous burst. You just don't shut down. So, I just reintroduced myself back to trehalose about 3 weeks ago. I was doing some research for a hair care product that I'm working on. And 18-MEA is the top strand of hair. So on your hair, you have something called 18-MEA. It's a fatty acid. It's the top strand of your hair. And one of the things that protects it and keeps it from breaking down and hydrates it and keeps it with that volume, but totally hydrates it, like literally keeps it hydrated, is something called trehalose. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard trehalose. I haven't heard the word trehalose since it came out of my mouth 4 years ago. So I'm like, oh my God, trehalose. I forgot all about trehalose. So I looked it up, and it does have like 18-MEA in it, which is a fatty acid, not a fatty, yeah, it's a fatty acid strand. But I was able to buy a decent amount of trehalose for a decent amount of money. It wasn't an insane amount of money. And I tested it out, and it's like day one, you know, with my brain fog because of Lyme disease, immediately my brain fog lifted. Immediate, like it just got better and better and better. And I literally canceled an herb that I was taking that cost about $100 a month. I canceled that because I'm like, and trehalose is $9.99 a pound. You know what I mean? So I'm saving like $100 a month because I don't need this herbal concoction anymore. And because my mind is fine, I can say words like neurology. Lyme is a neurological disease. Neurological was a word for me that I really couldn't say. I would stumble over that. So trehalose has given me back like brain function and verbal skills, and I can talk, and I don't stumble over my words, and I'm not hesitating now. It's like everything that I think about can actually come out of my mouth. I know where my car keys are. I mean, everything has just been like returned to me. And I don't care how much trehalose ever goes back to being ever on this planet, I'm never going to stop taking trehalose. And the other thing that was amazing to me is that when I was doing my triathlons, I stopped doing my triathlons about 3 years ago because I was running long distance races, half marathons with my wife. And we ran a half marathon in like 5 inches of snow on the trail. And that gave me plantar fasciitis on both of my heels. So I got plantars on both of my heels. And it was to the point where I was, you know, at ATM machines and tears were coming out of my eyes. Like, it felt just like stepping on a rose bush. And there's that's the perfect way to describe that. It was just like stepping on a rose bush. And this was 9 hours of like 24-hour day, like constant, like the sheer sharp pain. So I stopped racing and doing any running because the plantar fasciitis. And the plantars definitely went from like a 90 to like a 25, but always there, always present. And any pain is exhausting. I mean, if you're in pain, you know that it gives you fatigue, basically. It makes you tired. So I've always had plantars, and that really hasn't ever gone away. And I don't run or do anything I don't go to the gym or do anything cute anymore because I don't feel like getting the plantars all, you know, riled up. Because that pain is just too much. So I started taking the trehalose. I got my brain back. I was real fired up about that. But like a week or so into it, I turned around and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't had any pain in my calves or my I haven't had any pain in my legs coming from my heel, like this shooting pain going up like your legs. I haven't had that, you know. And I'm like, and I look down, I'm like, and I'm in bare feet. I mean, it's like, bare feet and plantars is a freaking no-no. I mean, you're freaking no-no. And I used to wake up every morning, and that first like 100 yards was pure pain. And then it would kind of somehow like warm up, my body would get okay. So trehalose has helped me with brain function. It helps me with my plantars, the inflammation. It helps me with, obviously, my memory, but it also kind of does some weird thing where it suppresses, like, I guess, you know, your appetite in some way. It holds you over a little longer. It's a food-like substance. So this is, you know, 1, 2, 3, I'm putting it over here so you can see I'm not playing. 4, right, juices. So, and I'm drinking tea right now. So in my tea right now is yerba mate, trehalose, and stevia, like a high-end stevia, like 90, like a real high-end compound of stevia. So, and then here's my dinner, like a plant-based food. Right, so I don't do this all the time. This isn't every day for me, but this is me right now. This is the season I'm in because trehalose has gotten me so pumped and so healthy that it's helping me change my diet as well. So I'm on the trehalose website now. It's herbistat.com/trehalose.html, and I'll shoot it up. But, go here, herbistat.com, trehalose, and you can kind of go here to herbistat.com, and then there's this big old trehalose button here. So you click on that, and you go into the trehalose page, and it basically describes that trehalose is an extract from, like, food items. It can come from seaweed, it can come from insects, it can come from lobsters, it can come from mushrooms. There's a couple things they can extract this sugar from. So basically the way it breaks down is that trehalose is a glucose and a glucose, where normal table sugar is a glucose and a fructose. So the breakdown is AA, for example, versus A2B, right? It is literally the energy source that insects and I believe birds of fight. Let's see here. Trehalose is the major carbohydrate energy storage molecule used by insects for flight. So one possible reason for this is that they have a glycosidic linkage of trehalose, where when acted upon by an insect, trehalose releases 2 molecules of glucose, which is required for rapid energy requirements of flight. So this is double the efficiency of like glucose or sucrose or fructose or mannose, right? Or xylose. So here's all your sugars right here. There's the 8 essential sugars on the planet. Your cells communicate with sugars and protein. So trehalose literally improves sustained energy, improves cellular hydration, improves brain function, enhances memory, stimulates calcium absorption, regulates insulin and glucose levels in obese men, enhances cellular communication, and lowers body odor. So you basically treat trehalose exactly like sugar. You just replace it with normal table sugar. You cook with it. You use it in your teas. You just put it in there. It doesn't sweeten like table sugar does. It doesn't have a sweetening effect. When you put it in your mouth, pound for pound, it tastes like sugar. There's no way you can tell the difference between trehalose and table sugar. There's no way you can tell. But trehalose, in my opinion, is probably, like, of all the food sources that are out there, the only one that probably rivals it for like all its uses is probably aloe vera. Aloe vera is the top of the food chain for the vitamins and minerals and all the cool things that it does topically and orally. And trehalose is the same thing. Probably most of your makeup and your lotions on the high-end side, because this crap's expensive, on the high-end side have trehalose in there, because trehalose really does put a gel around your cells. It's almost like an anti-ager. So it protects the cell and hydrates the cell, basically. So most frozen foods have, like frozen pops, things like that, have trehalose because it protects the food so much. They just kind of like coat it with trehalose. Tastes good, coats the food, saves it from just breaking down from the freezing process. So that's basically what trehalose is. It's basically a sugar that's really not a sugar. I think here it says it tastes just like sugar. It's it's a disaccharide. Okay. Disaccharide. Trehalose is a disaccharide. Okay. So that's the big deal there. With, like, differentiate. Is it a carbohydrate? Is it a mono? Is it a glyco? Like, what is it? It's a disaccharide. So you can kind of like look farther into that. I'd be interested to see what aloe vera is as well, like what that falls into. I mean, obviously it's some sort of herb, we get that, but what community does it fall under? See, it's the dehydration rehydration cycle. So definitely check it out. I mean, if you're an athlete and you want to improve your times and have energy and stamina, trehalose. You put it in your water, put it in your food, eat it all the time. If you have if you battle with fatigue, memory loss, and brain fog, trehalose. If you're trying to curb your appetite and lose weight, trehalose. And I think for diabetics, it's a no-brainer, to be honest with you. But I can't speak to that because I don't know enough about that. But here's like a diabetic, I guess, graph on sugar. Glucose, trehalose, and a placebo. So, look at your table sugar all the way up here. Look how trehalose doesn't even, get into that spike, that 20-30 minute spike, which just levels out and goes down. So, awesome stuff. And there's that like sustained energy, 20, 40, 60, 80 minutes versus boom, boom. You've got 80 minutes here of sustained energy. And that's exactly what I found. I mean, I found like I get a good hour to 3 hours of, when I was doing my triathlons, they were like a fat hour. I didn't break down, one time. It was just crazy. So please check out trehalose. And give us some feedback. If you try it and it works for you, great. I mean, I have no joint pain, in my hands at all, my knees, back. I don't know how it does it, but it does work with inflammation like crazy. So, and it's, $9.99 a pound. It's cheap as hell. All right, good luck to you. Thanks.